Good evening humans, Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the SP-142 human anatomical model from Figma. This is my first Figma figure and definitely a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of stuff I'm not used to, but ultimately it's just a really odd figure and that's totally my wheelhouse. So let's take a look at it. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, as you can see right off the bat, we got some real interesting stuff going on here where the design of the figure is kind of like half of the layer just below the skin and then the layer below that on the other half. So that's a real interesting choice. And again, I guess it being kind of more of a scientific model than just straight up action figure, that's a really interesting way to approach it. So as you can see, we have the like ear and more of the facial features here on the right side, and then the left, it's just kind of just below that. So we got like no eyelids, no ears, any of that. Paint is very cleanly applied all around, which is really nice. Then we've got some kind of cool shading here too at the neck, and as you can see, just really good details. I mean, it totally gets the point across of what it is. And yeah, just really good work all around. It's really kind of a cool figure to look at. Not only that, but it is translucent plastic, and I don't know if you can really see that, but if you shine a light behind it, I actually don't have one conveniently with me, but it just looks really good with being backlit. So it's definitely a plus to this figure. And yeah, beyond that, just really cool looking figure. I mean, it'll fit in various displays. Only issue would be the scale of it, which we'll see in size comparisons, but being a Figma, Figma runs a little bit smaller than true 1/12. So yeah, it's a little small, but really cool figure and a great reference. So that's aesthetics. When it comes to accessories, we got a pretty cool loadout going on here. So let's dive right into it. And starting off with hands. So right out of the box, we get these kind of just standard flat hands. The fingers are slightly apart, as you can see. So that's kind of your default. And then we have a tree almost similar to what Mafex does. So this made me very happy to see. So for the hands, different varieties of hands we get. So we get a pair of fists. We get a pair of gripping hands, which unfortunately are closed between the thumb and the fingers, so you can't really pry those apart. So you're gonna be a little limited as to what it can actually hold. Then we come down to a couple of pointing hands. I almost lost a gripping hand there. And finally, we have some just relaxed hands with the fingers together. So that is the hands. As you can see, that this one's a little bit loose. And speaking of which, we actually get a spare wrist joint, which is always welcome. That's always a good sign. Well, might not be a good sign if they expect it to come out. And then we finally get the Figma stand. So as you can see, it just says Figma on there, kind of transparent. And then we get the arm here separately, and that just plugs in. Nope, I might be doing this incorrectly. Nope, there we go. So that goes in, and then as you can see, we got a little peg here, and that just plugs into the back right there. And that being said, a couple more things I guess I should mention is you do get some instructions, so they tell you everything that comes in there. So just all of that. And then they actually give you a bag, kind of like what Articulated Icons was doing. I'm assuming Figma did this first, but still really cool to see. I always like having a place to actually store everything. So that's accessories. Articulation is very interesting here, certainly compared to what I am used to. And again, this is my first Figma figure, so if you have or collect any Figma lines, you may be more familiar with the scheme going on here. So for me, definitely a little bit of stuff to get used to. So we have a ball joint here at the base of the head, and we have something going on down here at the neck. I thought it would be a ball joint, but I don't know if it is. So we get some pretty good up. We get some nice down, pretty much all the way. And then not too much on the tilt, and that's really what I'm kind of a little sad about. And if we tilt the head back, you can actually see that ball joint in there. Then we come down the shoulders, and we do get a little bit of forward and back, and we can come up and down. And once again, we can actually see the joint as it goes into the torso and comes out here. So there's kind of a that sort of ball hinge sort of joint. That's also where you're getting your bicep, or I guess arm swivel. We are kind of single jointed here at the arms, but we get some pretty good range. We're definitely past 90, kind of just past it. And then we have ball hinges at the wrists, so that you can kind of turn around to get what you want, whether you want to get vertical or horizontal movement there. So that's there, and as you can see, that's the peg. Then we come down to the diaphragm. Diaphragm is a ball joint. We're coming all the way around. Crazy amounts as well. Something you do need to be careful of though, I guess if you're taking pictures or something, is that the back is super gappy. And as you can see, that ball joint in there kind of coming from the top half of the torso into the bottom. So definitely something to be aware of, but you can definitely get some good range, as you can see, because we also have a ball joint here at the bottom, here at the waist. And so yeah, you're moving all the way around there. The hips themselves are very, very big, as you can see. The boy's got some glutes, and that is, you know, it kind of gets in the way, but it also kind of gets out of the way. It's kind of weird to explain, especially unless you're actually trying to articulate it. And then we come down to the hips, and there's an interesting situation going on here. The left leg for mine kind of comes off pretty easy, especially when I try to get it into splits. And you can get all the way out, as you can see on the right side here, but my left side tends to pop out. And as you can see, there's a socket there that does swivel, so that's your thigh swivel as well. We got a ball joint here, ball joint on the other side, and that kind of tees up into the body. So you can get full splits, but it does take a little bit of work, and I've just got to work with that left leg a little bit more. So definitely something to keep in mind. And again, there's your thigh swivel. Come down to the knees, and we're coming apart here. Get that back in there. As you can see, it's a little bit of trouble once it actually comes out, but single jointed, we're still kind of folding the half very, very nicely. We do get a little bit of movement there as well, which is kind of nice. And then we have some really, really nice point. Some kind of, it's pretty much just neutral. And then we have a toe joint. And there is some rocker in there, but again, takes a little bit of work to get used to. You should see my leg's just like off at the moment. So that is articulation. Getting into size comparisons, because I don't have any other Figma figures, here they are with just some other figures that kind of fit the vibe. With some Hasbro. With some other imports. With some monsters. Finally with an articulated icons Oni, and yours truly in human form as an articulated icons ninja. So my final thoughts on the SP-142 human anatomical model from Figma is that this is a really cool piece. Definitely a little different from what I'm used to, and the articulation definitely takes a little bit of work, especially if, like me, you're a lot more used to like domestics such as Hasbro or Mattel, and even the stuff like Figuarts and Mafex on the import side. Just it's a little bit of getting used to. It's definitely its own sort of thing, and absolutely nothing wrong with that, just something that is worth keeping in mind. So if you want something spooky for your shelf, if you just like anatomical model style designs, like this is definitely worth picking up. And right now it is up for pre-order in a few places. I got mine off HobbyLink Japan because it is showing up overseas right now. So I will include links in the description below to where you can pick up yours. So please check those out if you're interested. And yeah, I hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining. And if you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and or sharing. And if you want to take the next level and help me even more, you can go to the bottom of the description and you can see other ways to do that as well. So yeah, please check those out. And with all of that being said, ultra thanks to you one last time for watching, and I hope you take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and most importantly, stay weird, simians.